Hi, Pete Howard here, and thanks for checking out my presentation on Richard Lowenstein's 2001 film He Died with a Falafel in His Hand. The film is based on the 1994 novel of the same title, written by John Birmingham. I will refer to the film as Falafel throughout this presentation. Falafel is a dark comedy which follows Danny, a 20-something who's trying to make his mark on the world as a writer. Danny lives in his 47th share house and struggles to recover from heartbreak, maintain friendships, and pay the rent. Falafel features many characters, but this presentation will focus on Danny and the relationships he maintains with Flip, Sam, and Anya. Danny shares a unique bond with Flip, a kind and sensitive man. Sam is an emotionally mature and intelligent woman who acts as a pillar of support for Danny's heartbreak. When Anya, a mysterious and liberal woman, becomes a new tenant, Danny develops romantic interest. During a pagan ritual, gatecrashed by Nazis, it becomes clear to Danny that Anya has designs for Sam, and it's time to leave House 47. 3 months later, we arrive in Melbourne at House 48, where he reunites with Flip and a deeply depressed Sam. Sam wallows in heartbreak due to Anya's inability to emotionally connect. That night, Danny intervenes during Sam's suicide attempt. Both vulnerable, they sleep together, which complicates their friendship. When a housemate steals Danny's credit card, it captures the attention of 2 corrupt police investigators. As they interrogate the tenants and check them for needle tracks, we learn that Flip has been using drugs. As tensions rise, an inspector shoots an anxious tenant and threatens to terrorize Danny. Now on the radar of 2 corrupt investigators, Danny leaves House 48. After another 3 months, we find Danny at House 49 in Sydney. He reunites again with Anya and Sam, who rekindle their romance. This is short-lived. In a moment of impulse, Anya and Danny kiss, which sabotages both of their relationships with Sam. As Danny's deaths lead to a court hearing, Flip re-enters the picture. Unable to cope with rehab and no support networks in place, he turns to Danny. Upon Flip's death, Danny decides to give up his pursuit of writing, addresses his debts, and reconciles with Sam. The film ends with a funeral for Flip, which features the farewells from all the lives he touched. Falafel is a thought-provoking film, and it brings a plethora of cultural and political themes to the table. Cultural themes include male toxicity, male friendship,
I love you too, Flip.
opposite-sex friendship, sexuality, mateship, homophobia, mental health, drug addiction.
Hard to find someone who's not into it to hang out with. Oh, I checked it out, man. Everyone's into it.
Community and identity. Present political themes include injustice, human rights,
Typical bloody junkie.
corruption, abuse of power, authority, government, and support systems. Each household pairs with an act. The beginning is set in Brisbane, the middle in Melbourne, and the end in Sydney. The physical landscape cleverly matches the tone of events while exploring each city's social identity. The inhabitants of the households are exaggerated caricatures, provide an insight into the cultural identity of each city. In Act 1, the warm, lush setting of Brisbane pairs with the light and comedic tone of events. Brisbane's household contains mostly males who partake in pub talk and exhibit homophobia as well as toxic masculinity. During the climax of Act 1, the household characters are grouped with pagans and Nazis. This combination of social groups may suggest that Brisbane's cultural identity is shaped by an extremity of social opposites and values. In Act 2, Melbourne's bleak weather and architecture heightens the dramatic turn in events. It especially accentuates the emotional states of Danny and Sam. In Act 3, Sydney's overcast sky puts bright light on the reality of our characters' situations. During the early 2000s, Sydney was one of the main cities impacted by the Australian heroin epidemic, so it's likely that this setting was intentionally chosen for Flip's death. Present in each city is the attitude of those who have power in Australian society, which is primarily the white man. In Brisbane, we are introduced to the authoritarian attitude of social security.
We get you a job that says you lick toilet bowls, and that's what you do. You lick toilet bowls.
We see corruption of the police in Melbourne, and later witness the failure of the justice system. High and low angle shots are utilised to illustrate who is in power and who are powerless. For example, in Brisbane, when we meet the landlord's debt collectors who utilise intimidation tactics to gain payment. Some low angle shots also convey the attitude of government and authority, especially towards those who suffer from drug addiction. In this scene, the police look down at Flip, labelling him as just another junkie, and deeming him as an inhuman nuisance. It's worth noting that this film is not all doom and gloom. I think Falafel speaks to the power of community. The characters of each share house are diverse and have very little in common, but in moments of tragedy and despair, they can unite and support each other. In short, Falafel uses setting to cleverly convey the events of the narrative, while also providing a critique on Australian cultural identity. Thanks for your time and all the best. Cheers.